What's your name, sir? Musikaili? Ah.
Yes, the one and only. So as a driver, that means I'm always sitting in the car.
Yeah.
And then I finish, I go home, sleep.
Yeah.
That's my routine for every day. What are the dangers of that?
Over time, if you're not using your body, then the muscles will start to get weak.
Yes.
And if you don't have enough muscle in your body, you lose strength, you lose flexibility, you lose power, and your body is also made to move. If you can walk a little bit in the evening, even if you're driving all day, but you walk a little bit in the evening, then that's good. If
Like
walk for half an hour.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
At a good pace. You need to be like puffing a little bit. So you cannot just be walking like you're walking to,
to the shop to get bread.
You need to be pushing the body under some pressure.
Oh, all right. Hey, man. Thank you so much.
Right now you're probably at home watching this video and sitting down. And sitting down for short periods is generally okay. But with lifestyle changes, people are spending more and more of their time sitting down. More information worth noting is there's lots of research to support the fact that a sedentary lifestyle is linked with serious health conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and certain types of cancers. Let's start with the backbone of the problem, quite literally. So your spine is made of bones and muscles, ligaments. They all allow your body to move around. Your body is so amazing, it can even stand up straight against the force of gravity. Your blood is getting pumped around your body by your heart and moving everywhere it needs to allow you to circulate your blood properly. Your body was used by your ancestors for hunting, for gathering food, for staying alive. You can see that in the way that the bones are structured, how many joints you have, how your skin stretches when you move. Of course, sitting down is also important for resting, for recovering from sport, from recovering from movements and sleeping. When you're sitting down or possibly driving for long periods, often you're slumped over, and this means your spine is curved around. And when you're sitting down, your knees are normally bent at 90-degree angles, again possibly putting pressure on your muscles, your joints and your ligaments. Have you ever got pins and needles from sitting down for too long? Well, this might be the cause of it. If you're sitting down for long periods on a flight and you're having the blood pooling in your calves or your lower legs, this could lead to possible clots, and these can be life-threatening in some cases if their clot breaks off and travels to your lungs. We call this a pulmonary embolism. If you're sitting down for long periods, you're likely to burn less calories, and your metabolic rate, the calories you burn per hour, is reduced. If you're spending large parts of your day sitting down, that means you're possibly at risk of obesity or putting on weight. Physical activities is essential for all ages, no matter what colour your skin is and what gender you are. Physical activity helps control your blood pressure, your weight, your sugar levels. So what are the other benefits of moving around apart from lowering your risk of heart disease? Better sleep, better ability to perform the normal daily activities, improved cognitive abilities. People usually sleep better, less chance of getting dementia, and improved bone and muscle health. In this study here on the direct healthcare costs of sedentary behaviour in the UK, if you spend around 6 to 8 hours a day, your overall increased risk of death increases, all-cause mortality. If you're sitting down for around 6 to 8 hours a day, you have increased risks of problems with your heart, and around 30% of UK adults are sitting down for around 6 to 8 hours a day in the week. This means that many individuals in the UK are at increased risk of chronic disease. Now I'm going to go through some of the more serious risks involved with sedentary lifestyles, such as cancer, heart disease, diabetes. Some of the cancers you're at higher risk of getting include colon cancer, endometrial cancer, and lung cancer. The reason that a sedentary lifestyle affects your heart is that your heart's function is to pump blood around the body. Well, if you're doing activity, your heart is working harder at pumping blood around your body. So the harder it works, the stronger it gets. If you're sitting down for long periods, that means that your heart is not working as hard as it could be when you're moving around. Therefore, it gets weaker and you're at more risk of heart disease. When you're doing sports and it's working really hard to pump blood around your body, that means that it's getting much stronger. So if you're sitting down for long periods, you're at high risk of heart disease as your heart is not getting the full workout that it needs. Another complication of not moving enough and sitting for too long is diabetes risks. Sitting down for long periods affects the regulation of your sugar levels. If you're moving around, you're more likely to use up the sugar and the things that you're eating and glucose. If you're sitting down for long periods, your body's not using up all that glucose and you're more likely to end up with diabetes. I've gone through all the risks and now I'm going to give you my practical tips on how to get moving. As a busy doctor working in the hospital, the way that I get my sports in is I often choose to walk or bike places. I will avoid using public transport if I can walk, even if it's half an hour or 45 minutes. And I try to walk places or bike if I can. Either way, I'd be traveling to that place, so I try to use my exercise in that time. What I do is have weights inside my house and have exercise bands and a small exercise machine that allows me to get moving even if I have a short break. I remember also always trying to use the stairs, not the lift. So I will often get small bursts of activity in, especially at one of my hospitals which had 10 floors. If you got to the top of that, you would be huffing and puffing, and I think I've done a lot of physical activity that day if I've done a few up and downs of those. And I love to spend time with my friends and family. So with my friends, we might go to Pilates or yoga together and then have a snack afterwards as a way of catching up. Or I might go for a walk after lunch with my family. The more rigorous the activity, the better the health effects. So you need to get huffing and puffing to get the most benefit.
At a good pace, you need to be like puffing a little bit.
Yeah.
So you cannot just be walking like you're walking to, you know,
to the shop to get bread.
You need to be pushing the body under some pressure.
And a few more practical steps on how to get moving. Park a little bit further from the store, so you have to do a little walk to get there, and make sure you walk fast to get huffing and puffing. Some people also find setting up alerts on their phone saying that half an hour is up, you should do a quick walk. You might find that useful. Not everyone has the same abilities to get exercising. You might be limited by time, you might be limited by cost, you might not feel safe when exercising outside, or you might have health conditions that stop you exercising. You need to remember that activity is individual. I have a friend, for example, who loves to play table tennis, so they can have a quick 2-minute game in their house. If you have a health condition, you might want to speak to a doctor about which forms of exercise you're still able to do. So for example, if you have arthritis, you might try swimming. You might want to try more upper body exercises. If you have problems with running, you might want to think about things like Pilates and yoga. You need to choose the activity level that's right for you. And in some cultures, you might find it's more difficult to exercise outside. So in these situations, you might want to try a home gym. You might want to try outdoor sports like running. You might want to go to a local gym that's outside in a park. If you're struggling with the financial costs of gyms, you might want to try somewhere where there's free equipment inside a park. Research has shown that short bursts of activities are also great for your heart. So you don't need to do 1 hour long runs, you can also do a couple of minutes of activity as and when you have time. Small amounts of activity are thought to lower your risk of heart disease, strokes and premature death. And that's the case even if it's 1 to 3 minutes long. In the study, it looked at around 25,000 adults in the UK around the age of 68. These people were tracked for around 8 years, and they often found that small bursts of activities under 10 minutes still had a benefit on their health. And they did find in general it's better to exercise from 1 to 3 minutes rather than under 1 minute. And the bottom line is all these small bursts of rigorous activity, they do add up. I have patients who say, I haven't got time to go to the gym, I haven't got time to go exercising, or it's too hard work. Well, small 1 to 3 minute bursts of activity can still help they add up. So just get moving. If you do, for example, 3-minute bursts of activity 5 times a day, that's already 15 minutes of exercise. And if you do 15 minutes of exercise every day for 7 days, that's around at least 1.5 hours of exercise a week. So you can see it's getting more and more easier to get activity in. Another tip is to get moving when you have a work call if you can. There's some calls I just have to listen in on, and I have a park near my house, so I'll put my headphones in and just walk around the park as the meeting's going on. I've also heard of the benefits of a walking desk, so where you have a treadmill underneath your desk, so therefore you're able to walk as you're working. There are lots of practical, small ways of getting in the exercise that you need. Thank you for watching, and write a comment down below about your favourite exercise and how you find time. This will also help other people to get inspiration from you. Thank you for watching The Travelling Doc.